Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. And in this video today, I want to discuss the current squeeze that Bitcoin is about to go into, as well as what this could do to the future price action of Bitcoin itself. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this, because there's a lot of information to discuss about what's happening in the price action of Bitcoin. So on here, you guys can see I already have a couple of targets set up, but the primary thing that I'm looking at here is inside of this giant pennant, this falling wedge. And as this progresses further, it is reiterating the issue and really just how far this thing has gone and how it's actually getting squeezed and continuing to get squeezed the farther it pinches into this falling wedge. So as resistance and as support are colliding over here, this is slowly getting into a tighter and tighter space to bounce around in. And so while we do have a little bit of a piercing action towards the bottom over here, now that this is back into the falling wedge, what this means for us is that this is going to continue to get squeezed. This is going to continue to build up pressure until this shoots out one way or another. Now, while this is a falling wedge, which is a bullish formation and continuation pattern, you can't help but still be a little bit bearish here. I mean, you're looking at your volume's falling off all over again from what we just had, and that is generally a bearish sign, because when volume is falling off, especially positive volume in a bear market, when the trend is your friend in a bear market and you're losing positive volume, that generally is a good sign of, hey, something bearish could be coming here towards, really something bearish could be coming at us in the short-term future. So when I'm looking at this, ideally, this would be a bullish situation for Bitcoin. But when I'm looking at the volume down here, it gets me a little bit more nervous because of the fact of what it's looking like. Despite it falling all so much, the volume's falling off once again, and it's generally not looking too hot for the price action of Bitcoin. But I do want to talk about two things, and that is the 4-hour indicators and oscillators and the 1-day indicators and oscillators, because these are the things that I think are really going to be kind of this turning point for making a decision in this range, more so than the candle body chart. Because if you're looking surely at the candle body chart in this area, ideally, again, a falling wedge is bullish, but this is just showing so much rejection, it makes me a little bit almost uncertain when looking at this kind of a formation. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour indicators and oscillators first, since we're already here, and then we'll take a look at our 1-day chart. So the first thing that I've noticed, we can kind of already go ahead and get rid of this guy because it's already played out, but I'm looking and I'm seeing that actually our MACD is already starting to round off over here. As we can tell, the top of our MACD looks like it is rounding off as well. And so when I'm looking at this, it's it's not necessarily the best case scenario, because your MACD, again, it is rounding off. Again, with that being said, it's not impossible for this thing to keep to shoot up again. We've seen areas over here where it started rounding off and then actually came back up. You have seen scenarios like that before, but when your MACD generally starts rounding off on your 4-hour, it is not the best of situations. So this could turn around, but as of right now, not the best situation for Bitcoin to be in. I do want to highlight that your oscillator has been, for the most part, in the negative or in the sell zone, in the bear zone for a long time now. And with this looking like it's trying to start breaching some of these bullish zones up above here again. So we'll see as to whether or not this actually, your oscillators can get back above in this range, because that would be, again, a great area for Bitcoin to be in. Looking at our RSI, we have not too much has changed. The one thing that I have noticed, and I want to highlight in both the RSI and the MACD, is that your MACD and your RSI are resetting back to neutral. So again, with RSI, your neutral is, again, right in here at around 50 is your neutral RSI, and then the MACD is pretty self-explanatory. Whenever it's back and, there's no price action right over here at about 0, that's a neutral for the MACD. So with both of these guys going back to relatively neutral stats, this is where things can get interesting, because if they both reset back to neutral, this could really be something that goes either way from this range. Now, ideally, this would be a bullish area for Bitcoin, right? You're coming from oversold. You would imagine that this would start making moves from oversold, at least somewhere up towards the overbought. That's how the natural formation of things go on things like the RSI, and that you would expect this to at least push somewhere close towards the overbought territory. But again, with this being said, it reached almost neutral. It reached neutral until it actually fell back down here, and now we're working our way from what looks like it back upward. So when I'm looking at this, again, I'm acknowledging the fact that your RSI and your MACD are looking to reset into a neutral area before making the next move. But I think, again, the thing where this really gets hard is that when you're looking at this and you're looking for where the next move is going to be, this is a hard area, because ideally you would like to say that this is a bullish formation, because of the fact fact that you have such a solid support over here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 touches on support, but your resistance is really what gets me and what really makes me conflicted in this area, because of the fact that your resistance is so strange and weak, and you really only have this one and this one. I don't even think you can count this guy because he's really not even that close to touching resistance. So when I'm looking at this, if I can't count this guy and I can't count this guy, then really only 2 real touches on resistance is just not good enough for me, because what that's telling me is that it is, you know, the bears are so strong in this range that you can't even get your wicks up to the proper levels to reach resistance. You know, the selling pressure is so much greater than the buying pressure in the zone that you can't even get them up to resistance to touch. Now, this could be conflicted, this could all change, but again, it's just why I'm skeptical. So let's move this over to our one-day chart before we talk about anything else. And I think this is where things are actually looking a little bit more bullish for me than they are bearish. So highlighting this on the one-day chart, I want to talk about how this looks like a significantly cleaner falling wedge than on the 4-hour. Again, it looks, let's go ahead and delete, so we can go ahead and delete some of these guys as well. But this does look significantly cleaner on a 4-hour chart than on a one-day chart than on a 4-hour chart. And I'll go ahead and highlight this right now. And another thing I want to highlight is the fact that the MACD looks considerably stronger and better on this one-day chart than it does on the 4-hour chart, because with this being done the way that it is right now, it's actually looking like a form of double bullish divergence, and how this is starting and beginning to round off. And I think as long as it keeps going in this area on your one-day MACD, this is going to be a bullish scenario. Now, what you really need is for these oscillators to start pointing back upwards to confirm this double bullish divergence, and what you need from your RSI is a little bit of, you know, the same thing. Now, ideally, this is more of a bullish scenario than it is a bearish scenario, at least based upon from your RSI. When I'm looking at this, it was very deep oversold again back in here in November. It's moved its way back up. Now that it reached neutral again, now that it came back down, it's a little bit closer towards this oversold area, but it's still, you know, relatively not even in this area yet. So we'll have to see where this comes back down. But you know, in a perfect world here, I don't see this thing just taking these massive, these massive gaps down, at least not as of yet. When I'm looking at this chart, I don't think, you know, at least in the short term, I don't just see this thing collapsing and falling from, you know, 33, 3400, whatever we're at right now, all the way down to around 2700 right now. You know, it's very possible, because if this support breaks, and I want to make this very clear, if this breaks, I truly do believe that we're heading right towards a double bottom, and if we break this double bottom, I believe we're heading right towards around 2700. Now, that being said, I don't think that it's very probable that we break support yet. But with this squeeze happening, we literally have probably a matter of days left. I would say a week at max until this breaks and this bursts either towards the upside or the downside. So we'll have to see and wait how this plays out. Ideally, this would be a bullish scenario for Bitcoin, but again, conflicted readings are kind of hard in this zone. So let's go ahead and make our way back to the RSI. So again, the way that, if you guys don't know how the RSI works, in a nutshell, in its most simplistic form, if it goes from overbought to oversold, and that's kind of with the areas that it bounces in between, right? If it's overbought up here, it goes to oversold down here, and you know, kind of ricochets oversold. And again, the deeper oversold it goes, generally it goes deep into overbought territory. So with this being this deep oversold, I would expect some sort of a hard bounce in the not so distant future of Bitcoin. But the RSI is not a one end all say all, and you can't really treat it like that either. But again, this falling wedge does not look too bad on the price action of Bitcoin, and that's really why I'm not too worried about this scenario. I am starting to get, again, a little bit nervous, because I do think that, and I want to switch this back to the 4-hour to stress this last point, I do think that if we do not break this zone soon, and we don't break out towards the upside soon, the longer that we're in this falling wedge, the more bearish I'm going to become, because I think that we are reaching the end life of this falling wedge, and what looked to be maybe our final rally could have been a fail. And that's why I am getting nervous, because of the fact that, again, we are staying in this, we are overusing our welcome and our stay inside this formation, and that is why I'm getting a little bit nervous about this zone. So again, if it does not break out soon, for every candle it stays in here, I'm getting progressively more bearish about this area. It could be possible that it breaks out, but again, it's showing signs of exhaustion and kind of just really just signs of a potential collapse coming towards Bitcoin. So I am not in any current trades right now. If you guys want to know all this information early, you guys can get all this information that I just said early on the Patreon. I release all this information early to them first, and then I make videos about it and talk about it in the things like the Discord and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, go and look down into the description down below, and you can find links to everything along those lines. But that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy it, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this situation. Are you guys taking the bull side, or are you guys taking the bear side? I want to know in the comment section down below. But thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video.